I'm going to preface this by saying I do not wish to bring up any particular names or any particular groups. What I'm commenting on is the public recognition process. Throughout the year, it seems to be getting more and more tense, in my opinion. The culmination of which occurred last Wednesday. And throughout this year, and I think I have full support from you, I said First Amendment trumps everything. And so I cannot legislate, or public recognition is you basically say you have your 3 minutes. I look at our rules and procedures, and just in the beginning on our public recognition, it says any member of the public provided an opportunity to address the council and mayor on issues not on the agenda. No member of the public shall engage in discussion or comment which is obscene, indecent, libelous, and then goes on to promote the sales, et cetera, et cetera. I do not apply that standard. Again, the First Amendment. And then under complaints, it says these rules and procedures, personal complaints, especially those of a derogatory nature against any official or employee. I want to stress the words employee. I'm not really concerned about city council members or the mayor. We signed up for this. We took an oath of office. We just said blah, blah, blah. Shall not be discussed at a council meeting. Citizens wishing to make such complaints shall be instructed that, and same should be first processed and handled through the mayor's office. If the citizen feels appropriate action has not been taken, it should be proper complaint. And then go to the council president, et cetera, et cetera. You can read those, and I'm sure you've read those before. Here's my dilemma. Got the First Amendment. I do not want to impinge. I know they're listening or whatever. Do not want to impinge on anybody's First Amendment rights. I'm looking at the public recognition and how do we fix this? Last Wednesday was really bad. I think we're all in agreement. It was really bad. Council members, you had an opportunity to speak up during your time. I respected that. My concern is for our employees. When we allow, through having public recognition, a process where everybody can just tee up and go after our employees, I'm not a legal expert, but to me, it's almost advocating for a hostile environment. I just want you to think about that. I do not right now, come up with a way to prevent what's happening from continuing on in the future. I don't have a miracle thing. I thought of some compromises. I thought of limiting it to 1 minute. I thought of putting it towards the end. I don't know what the right answer is. I know other cities, and you're not going to like to hear this, I think. Other cities have gotten rid of public recognition. Other cities have instead put in procedures where you can have a two-way dialogue with your councilman, but not maybe the whole council, or maybe with the whole council, but it's at a different time. That way you can, if someone really has a complaint, it's more productive than someone coming up and just saying, you know, you're crooked or whatever the flavor of the day is. I don't see that being productive. I see that being a waste of time. I do respect anybody's First Amendment rights, again, for their 3 minutes. So we could, and I'm conflicted with doing this because now we have the shelter issue, and I'd like to hear from residents on the shelter issue. So I don't like the timing of this. But I sure the heck don't like the timing of what happened last Wednesday. And I'm fearful it could get worse. And again, I go back to our employees. And do we have a right to protect our employees from being in that type of environment? It's been going on since probably the beginning of the year by certain individuals against certain staff members. And we allow it. I've allowed it under the First Amendment. I see the clearest thing to do right now is to say, okay, we're going to not do public recognition for a while until we can figure out what is the best way to take care of this, address this going forward. Or we can continue to grin and bear it, or we can move it to 1 minute, move it towards the end. I'm open to suggestions, and I'm willing to take the heat. If you just give me the head nod, I think I was looking at Kylie at the rules and procedures. I think we have to have a resolution. I don't think I can just change.
You can change. You have to change the rules by resolution, but I think the council president has the ability to remove things from the agenda under items subsection 2 and 1 and 2. Maybe like as a moratorium rather than like a formal change of the rules.
Okay, just like, we're gonna curtail this for a while until cooler heads prevail, or until we can kind of figure out what we
Until
wanna
can
do.
Figure out a way
safe
that
way.
we can, I mean, I guess.
Look at all the
Say my
options.
piece here on
Sure.
this. When you read the rules and, you can tell that, the council in the past, when this was adopted, thought of these situations, that there's prohibitions against complaints against employees, there's prohibitions against complaints against officials. Those are supposed to be addressed to the council president, against the council president, to, the vice president. And, when you run those rules against the First Amendment, and keep in mind that public recognition part of our meeting is not required by law. It's
Right.
a portion of the meeting that Bremerton has created. And so, First Amendment, and that's where we get the comments that we have. The concern that I think Eric has expressed about employees, I just want to add some additional points to consider, is that, we have a legal responsibility to protect employees from harassment and hostile workplace conditions, even if it is, not from other employees or city officials. And, prompt action is required. And, there's certainly a concern here, since it's discretionary on the council's part to have this forum. I think a lot of council members feel like it's their way of showing that, they're listening to the public and stuff, but it's not required. That, I have concerns that unless we take action to fix this situation, that our employees aren't going to be comfortable.
Do you know,
So
you push
hang on,
back a little bit though on the
One second,
premise?
Jennifer, and then Anna, then you.
We're talking
Um,
solutions.
Here's another scenario that is also continuing to happen during public comment, is it always comes back to the same issue. There's people who are platforming and accusing, and it always comes back to the same issue. Do you have any kind of, do you have any ability to redirect the conversation if there becomes, like in public comment rather than public recognition? Do not speak derogatorily to our city officials, or is that just included in
Public recognition, I don't believe I can tell them.
public comment when you have on an item?
Agenda item.
On an
agenda
item, I
items.
have much more
And I think we
discretion.
can talk about, there's a lot more discretion.
I can
So-
say, that's not germane to the topic, you need to get back to whatever the
Are
topic is
you-
on hand.
That I want to, we're talking about public recognition, but I want to just kind of shore up that detail.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that for our city employees if it starts to become hostile in that way during public comment on agenda items?
So-
Or consent
so
agenda.
be careful when
Or
you say,
consent agenda items?
be careful when you say hostile. So if they make a comment and
Derogatory.
and it's,
You're-
but if it's
gotcha.
germane to the agenda item, I don't think I can
No.
restrict their speech.
No,
No,
and I don't think we want to. And to be clear.
Okay,
The concern that I have, we've had similar things happen in the past, but we had the most in our face last week, and how that impacts employees. I know it impacted many of you that night, and how you felt going home and into the next day. And, I have concerns.
I'm all for a moratorium for a while until we can figure out a rule that we can all live with.
we're still accepting public comment in other ways.
I'm good with
Yeah,
Yes, you
moratorium.
are, of course.
Yeah.
People can make videos and send them in to the council, email, they can write letters, emails, they can meet with you individually. Many of you are having district meetings. I don't think there's any shortage of opportunity. This council's been very active in, soliciting public input in a variety of forms. I think that right now we need to,
And reaching out to people who have had issues and disagreements with the city. I think that couple people have done their due diligence.
it's not a recommendation I make lightly. I'm concerned about creating a safe space.
Anna, then.
so what do we think about Eric simply stating right out loud what he just said here, which is, we signed up for this, the 7 of us did.
I'm gonna push back on that.
Well, okay, let me just finish it, and then you will, I have every confidence in your ability to push back.
For
And,
sure.
and just say, look, if you wanna lay into us that's one thing, but you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Mhm.
mute you if you go
Can't do
after
that.
staff.
Can't do that.
You can't do that?
Yeah, whenever you have, when you create the
Okay.
forum,
We learned this from the anti-Semitic shit that we had to listen to that one time.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, I
My enthusiasm.
I take it
always gets
back.
the best of me.
I take it back.
I do want to push back against this. I don't know where it's written. I didn't sign anything. Says I have to put up with that shit. I really didn't. And well, and also, yeah, staff, I love you. They're gonna be killing me. Okay, when they come in with a gun, I mean, I was at active shooter training today. I've worked the industry for many years. I've gone through that training many, many times. I take it very seriously. And I think we all should go through that. And what is happening in our country is connected to what's happening in our chambers.
Yeah.
And we've got to
Absolutely.
prevent it from going. I don't think, I'm not a martyr, President Younger, and I don't sit up on that dais and say, you can talk about me anytime you want to up here. You know, no,
No, but again,
no.
I'm sorry, the First Amendment allows them, as long as we give them the opportunity
Yeah.
to do it, we have to allow
Have to
them
let
to do
them
But
that.
there are rules in there that
It
That
protect.
doesn't matter.
The Constitution trumps city council rules of procedure.
And I wasn't
We have-
finished earlier. I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
see if I could reclaim.
Denise.
We have business to conduct. Okay, we forget that. We're talking about social issues and all of this stuff. I've got business to take care of at that meeting. And I want to hear from staff and others with pertinent information that will help me make that decision. I don't want to listen to a barrage of hate being spewed at me at the beginning of a business meeting. It takes my energy. It saps my energy, and I can't make decent decisions after that as easily. So, you know, I'm sorry. It was a different time when we made that rule and we brought up public recognition to the beginning of the meeting. It was a much different time that we live in, much different. And there are political homicides happening every day. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I don't know about every day, but they're definitely happening. And I just want to speak as someone who is, and I don't know how many people here have received like actual death threats. I don't even know if you have. And just for political activism and it's, yeah, some probably pretty icky stuff. And there's too many people dying in politics right now. And I love to hear from the public, and I'm with Eric. We signed up for taking the heat, for taking public comment, for listening to people be angry and upset. But I'm getting a little PTSD triggered from it because I've been scared to go out to my car before because I've received death threats. I've been scared. I've been held up at gunpoint in the past in my life. And there's always the threat of having a gun in my face again. And I don't know how unstable people are who come and yell at us. I've had people yell at me in my face, and I don't know how far that can go. Yeah. And if I'm afraid, I'm sure other people are afraid because I'm kind of a fucking tough cookie. So anyway, I'm good with the moratorium. I still want to hear from the public. I absolutely love the public when they come and talk to us and share their concerns, but we can make appointments. We can talk to people. We can have coffee. We can get videos.
Comment cards.
Comment
Good,
cards.
Office hours.
Comment.
Ooh, office hours.
Yeah.
Bar big paper, you can.
I mean,
fold it in
Well, the
half.
whole point is
I
we
have
wanna-
people-
Go ahead.
I have people yell at me all the time and
Sure.
I can take that, but really the big concern is staff.
Yeah.
You know, and I want staff, they don't have to like coming to council meetings.
I want the public.
To dread coming to a
I know.
council meeting because they're providing us information so we can make an informed decision.
Mhm.
So I'm all for a moratorium until we can figure out a way to allow public comment again.
And
Some,
And I want to stress, this isn't like, okay, we're never gonna have public recognition again. We're gonna hopefully have it better version of whatever we decide.
Mhm.
Anne's listening, and I'm tasking her to research what other municipalities are doing. And work with Kylie, come up with some solutions that we can better engage with the public to hear their concerns. Then hopefully implement them sooner rather than later, but let's see what our options are.
I have another request that I wanted to bring up as we're
Right.
talking about this. We used to sometimes have police officers, and I don't ask this lightly, you know how I am, but I wonder if there's any,
Have that discussion. So, I mean, not just like, this isn't the first time it's crossed my mind. So I've had this discussion with Chief Wall. And we can have a police officer. It's gonna require overtime. And he's more than willing, if I feel there's a safety issue, he'll be there in person.
Always put them on the agenda.
that's how we do it. We don't
But-
consent
but-
agenda
but,
them.
You know, with our resources, it doesn't.
Right.
And I thought, okay, there's another option is you have a security guard down there, but I gotta tell you,
They're still gonna.
I'd much rather have a police
Me
officer.
too.
Because you gotta be careful, if you have an untrained person that's enforcing the rules, they could get the city in a lot of trouble liability wise, so I want a police officer.
I would,
And we've
I would,
had fake police officers in
Don't say
town lately,
fake.
so.
So anyway.
Oh,
just-
yeah, that's
well,
true.
I'll keep in mind, I know everybody, people are listening or whatever, but it is what it is.
I,
It's fine. Michael.
So I do support the moratorium. I'm really glad that you brought this up because it was weighing pretty heavily on.
yeah.
And,
That's
but I
really
just think that you know, let's like really try to come up with some
Yeah.
better ways. I've even thought about like maybe we have a specific public comment only for, you know, affordable housing and homelessness or something.
Mm.
So we can check in or kind of off of the ask council
Ask your
members. thing.
council.
But maybe, you know, maybe we do our thing up here and then if we're available in the lobby for 20 minutes, just a couple of us to just, you know, have a little conversation. I don't know, let's like really brainstorm and like break anything that you know about public comment. And is there another way to do that feels better?
Yeah.
But I also want to just agree with this idea that like that, you know, really, you know, I really wish we called it our council business meeting more often, which we do that kind of behind the scenes, but we just call it like council meeting. And, you know, it's the business meeting, we're doing the city's business. You know, when we ask for public comment, we ask for comments about city business. People don't always, you know, follow, you know, that so very specifically, or they make their own connections on why it's city business. And I feel like I was going to a point that it made me come.
I think you did. I
By
think you asked
using
my
the
way.
word, you would emphasize
Oh,
the
City
The
council
last,
business
just
meeting.
that we're here for business, and maybe we go back to doing business first,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe even just as times available or whatever.
So
I mean,
many
there's
boards.
something at the end that could
Yeah.
be some more interactive or something. But also, to be honest, Wednesday I seriously thought about just standing up and walking out.
Yeah.
I feel better doing that at the end of a meeting than at the beginning of a meeting.
I walked out and, you know, we can walk out and then there's not a quorum and the meeting has to stop. I'm just saying that's an
I
option.
literally thought about grabbing.
You
a
could have
few of
come
you
with me
on my way out.
and come out to the back room and then the quorum is eliminated and you can't have a meeting. I'm just saying, y'all, that's a power that we
Right.
have. If that shit happens again, and you know what shit I'm talking about, I'm asking you to please do something more when that happens.
Okay, Kylie's got a really good suggestion for us.
I'm
so.
just gonna suggest that I can
I know emotions are hard.
prepare
but I've got 'em.
a resolution for the consent agenda next week that memorializes the moratorium.
Mhm.
So the public gets a chance to comment to the council on this issue before it's adopted.
No worries, but in the end, it is council rules and procedures. We'll respectfully hear what the public, because it does affect.
No,
them.
I know, but I'm saying that,
Yeah, no,
you have
I think
ability
it's,
to think that way, that there would be an opportunity for comment on the.
yeah,
On that.
and that's what our procedures are. We should have a resolution. Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. Want to be clear though, this public comment can still be derogatory towards us or staff,
Mhm.
right? And any item,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
if something comes up and, you know, someone wants to, I mean, that any staff member, they want to blame an item on a staff member or they want to bring it up. So this stopping public record, because I don't take this lightly. It doesn't stop that.
That's right.
If somebody
Right.
wants to find a way to be mean to it, I'm gonna say more than mean, right? Hostile, derogatory.
Derogatory.
Yeah, horrible language, to a staff member. I'm sure they can find a way to tie it to an agenda item. So, I don't know, I also view public recognition as a bit of a steam valve. It's not fun for anybody, it's pretty horrible, we gotta listen to, put up with. But it is a steam valve to people, so yeah, this is not an easy decision.
That's why I think a moratorium is the best way, so, and research how other cities are.
Right. Or again,
They're doing
moving to the end, which it used to be. I mean, we really, like, we really purposely
I
did
love
that
the
in the front.
moratorium.
We want somebody had a, gosh, I really want to bring a pothole to this attention, or, I haven't seen you guys discuss, chicken toad in a while. I really wish you would. That was really nice if they could go to the front of the meeting and then not avoid the whole thing. Yeah.
That's right.
I get what
Yeah.
Jeff's saying. I mean, I do understand. I think it's a big deal to take away public comment. And so many of our other meetings hold it to the end, but right now, these folks that are intense are gonna wait till the end, and it's gonna continue the problem, so.
Well, right now they won't.
They're
okay.
gonna
I
wait
do
till
that
public
whole
comment.
hand raising thing.
I
It's so
know, you're
weird.
polite.
I know, I'm sorry about that. Michael, you and Eric remember how many times I waited for public recognition when it was at the end of the agenda and, and really agitated it for it to be moved up. And I still think that that's a good place. A very vivid memory to me is the woman who came in and she had gone through every proper channel and she had been able to do nothing about these guys who were doing late night high speed donuts at Corbett and 15th right in front of her house with customized mufflers blaring. And that appearance in front of council got some action going. So I do not want to get rid of public recognition forever, almost done. And I really don't want to put it to the end because I know that woman. She's my constituent. She works a job and then she takes care of her grandkid and she's got a full plate. Okay, all done.
How long,
Yeah, Kylie, I'm sorry.
how long
No,
for
no,
more
I was
time?
just saying councilmen can also add agenda items under our procedures too. So if you have had a constituent contact you and you want to bring it to the full council that matches.
Yeah.
To add. And I don't,
How long should we have the moratorium? I mean, I'm not asking you, for the
4 years?
council.
30 days?
How about till the end of the year?
You like 4
The end
years.
of the year?
I don't know,
Have a new council
because
from now on?
if we put it too short, and then we'll have to revisit this again. So you could have it December 31st. And if we came up with some solutions that we like, then we could cut it short and we could reinstitute whatever.
Well, and the
new.
new council members can weigh in in January.
right,
So
if
you
we
guys,
moratorium
for
it
next week,
until-
are you okay if we put December 31st?
I think that's kind of
Too long.
Yeah.
We were gonna.
I
It's
think
only 2 months.
The election
Three.
will be
Oh, 3.
certified by November 20 something, right?
yeah, but they don't get installed.
Right, but they could
Unless
weigh
people
it.
step down.
They
Well,
could
the-
weigh it.
Yeah. I think in 6 weeks, we should have enough information to make a decision.
All right, so
6 weeks is
after
okay.
Thanksgiving, because that's pretty much 6 weeks.
You mentioned something about a proposed resolution, but didn't you say council president can make the decision
I
unilaterally?
think
I mean,
they can, but the council could also pass a resolution for the moratorium so that there's a writing and whereases.
November
in the
12th.
discussion. And then
That's
the
really
public
great.
has a chance to comment before
Study session.
it's implemented and, you know.
I think it's best to have the resolution.
After
so
the
we can
election.
explain why we're doing
Right.
this.
Yep.
I think it's best.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then is this something that we're gonna talk about at the briefing and it's gonna be voted on and is in the consent, how we're gonna do
I'll
this?
work on the resolution with Ann and Eric and Jane and we'll put it in the packet and then if,
Open under general business.
yeah.
That way council members can talk about it.
Yeah.
Just like you did tonight. If you want, you don't have.
Or, I
But
mean, do
the-
we
but-
want to have a study session? Or,
This
So I'm
is,
sorry, Michael, you're more affected than I was, but
how,
We gotta address this.
Sure.
So I wanna address it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't want to wait for another study. session.
Yeah.
No.
But,
Immediate.
no, no,
Oh,
no.
but then we will have public
Let me
recognition.
time out. What I'm saying is that next Wednesday, we announce the moratorium, maybe take some comment on that. And then I don't necessarily want to talk about it next Wednesday. I'd like to talk about it at this table in 2 weeks, and use the time of the moratorium to hash out new ideas. So I'm all for a moratorium. I don't want to have a public discussion about it. So we can, I guess.
But here,
It's
now
also
that,
new.
now that we're thinking about this, so if you don't allow me to do it by presidential action, you want to have a resolution, then you'll have public recognition next week because that goes first.
No, but you can change the order of the agenda, of course.
Okay, so then we can
Yeah,
have the
I mean, you can
resolution and then if it passes, we don't have public recognition. on Wednesday.
So what else is on the agenda for next, what's gonna be general business next week?
So we have
Public
2 public
hearings.
hearings.
Public hearings, yeah, the alleyway
I
vacations.
really want to hear people about the
There's-
housing, about the shelter.
Is there anything
But
else?
see,
Yeah.
we do have that option
Yeah,
now.
you
We
can
can
add that as an
say,
agenda item.
yeah,
And say, we're putting, we had the study session, we would like.
Can we do that? Can we move the public recognition to the end of the meeting for next week and then come back at the study session?
Just do it a public comment for,
we
Or
can, we
the-
can
the
say we're only doing public
homelessness
comment
and-
on the shelter.
I
Somebody
like the
can-
idea of a
somebody can say,
moratorium on public
I
recognition.
want to talk about the shelter and I blame XYZ group of people. for the reason we have. It's,
Yep.
Then Eric can say not germane.
well,
Well, that's a fine line.
it's a very fine line, right? That's what I'm
Right,
saying, a very
it's
difficult-
like, we know what you're saying, dude.
But we're
Like,
taking
Person,
action.
people,
We're
sorry.
taking action and letting people know that it's not acceptable.
I
And we're
think,
gonna figure out what
I
to
think
do.
having comment cards for people to write on is a really, I mean, they won't let you talk at the school board unless you write what your question's gonna be.
I know.
How about this?
And you have to give your address.
It's getting late. Could you trust Kylie, Jane, and to come up with whether we're gonna do a resolution or if we're just gonna let me just
Definitely.
take it off?
I defer to you as president.
And then we'll work out with whatever we're doing.
Okay.
You'll see it on the
Yeah.
agenda. Get it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing up a very difficult.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So a reminder, next council meeting, speaking of which, will be next Wednesday, first starting at 5:30 PM, first floor of meeting chambers, Norm Dix Government Center. The public is invited to attend in person or remotely, but anyone wishing to speak during public recognition